Music producers, why are you naming your beats what you're naming them? There's a strategic way to go about this. Let's talk about it.
Airbit.com.
Music producers, I don't know what you named today's beat, but if you're anything like me 10 years ago, I was naming it whatever I could find in the room. Look back there. You see that blue clock? I would probably make a beat called Neon Airbits. And that would be the name of my beat because I simply was being very creative. And because I was, using so many creative juices, I would sit there and I would, say, you know what, when it comes to this title, I have no more energy for this title. It's got to be just as creative as the beat is. And I would come up with these titles. There was one benefit to doing this, but there were actually more, how can I put it? There were actually more ways that I was hurting my business by naming beats crazy things like that because it didn't align with my branding or didn't align with my music. Now, the one benefit that I saw was that it did make some beats more memorable to people. That when I had a beat called Pink Chargers, they were like, yeah, I want that beat Pink Chargers. But for other people, here's the thing about it. When you're thinking about your customer, and this is not to say that every customer is the same, but a lot of customers come to your beats, because they're creative creatures. They're looking for some sort of inspiration within the beat. You ever had this happen, producers, where you make a beat called, Superman X, and then the rapper raps over it, and somehow, some way, that Superman X title finds its way into the song, whether it's the actual song title or maybe it's a chorus or whatever. As creatives, we're constantly pulling from the things that we're inspired by, and if a beat inspires somebody, they're looking at the title and they're like, oh, Superman X, okay, cool, I'm a Superman X, I'm Superman, and it's like, you may not even have wanted that to be sort of the concept of that song, but so be it, that's what happens. So what you gotta start looking at your beat title as, you gotta be strategic about them because one, they're an opportunity for you to sell your brand. There's an opportunity for you to paint a picture for the rapper so that they know how to approach that beat. In the same way that you have, a Dave East type beat. The same way that you have a J. Cole type beat, Kendrick Lamar type beat, the same way you have that and it shows somebody, a rapper or a singer, sort of your direction and sort of the aesthetic that you expect over that particular beat is the same way you start to present that story as you're naming your beats. Now, if you're naming your beats things that, if your customer base, I'll give you an example. There's a lot of producers out here who, they're really into cars. And what they do is they start to have beats that really beat titles, that speak to the lifestyle of somebody who loves luxury cars, right? So if you like, I had a beat one time called Ferrari 4K because to me it was like, I don't know, like a Ferrari in 4K is like, that's gotta be a clean image of a clean vehicle that is fast, that is the futuristic, and these are things that I could use the same words to basically describe that beat. Now, did it fall in line with my overall branding? No, but for somebody who is along that, you may attract people who are like-minded into the same things as you, and because of that, you may start to have a loyal customer base that is built upon the culture you've created from your beat titles. So really be strategic about that. Beyond just being strategic about your beat, really being representative of a lifestyle, there's ways that your beat can really be representative of, the particular sound that you're going for at that point in time. So if say for instance, right now you're really into some moody sounds, so if you said something like, jazzy vibes or whatever the case, whatever you want to name it. If you name a beat Coltrane, you're evoking those emotions by that title. And what happens is when you're thinking about a rapper going through a tall list or a long list of beat titles, without them listening to the beat, all they have to go off of is the type rapper that you use or the title. So you better hope those titles are strategic. You better hope those titles tell the story of that beat and they're not just random items in a room like, I don't know, crown clocks. It has nothing. That does nothing for me. And if I'm a purchasing customer, I need a little bit of inspiration as I start to go through these beats, because there's nothing that signifies the difference between these beats, especially if they're looking on your Airbit account, besides maybe the genre and the BPM. There's not too many things, you know, that they can see that tell them, you know, what's the difference between this beat and this beat. So it's up to you to have these titles that, one, evoke the emotion, and two, that evoke a certain lifestyle that tells your customers, look, this is what I represent. Here's the thing about it too, you may attract a higher paying demographic of customers simply by speaking to that lifestyle. You know what I mean? By calling your beats very luxury items, or, you know, luxury, very, very high priced wines, or whatever the case may be. I don't know what culture you represent, but whatever the case may be, you start to attract that sort of energy, and customers start to tap into what you're doing. So be very strategic, even from an SEO standpoint. You know, when you think about, you know, search engine optimization is driven by the power of the keywords that you're using. If the keyword of your beat happens to be something that is highly searchable, or people are searching for it a lot, you have an opportunity to show up in multiple places that maybe many other producers are not showing up in. So really understand the culture of what you're doing, understand, you know, the lifestyle, understand, you know, the value of these words that you're using, because understanding the value of these keywords will help you tap into a market where they may be looking for beats, they may be looking for background music, whatever the case may be. You need to be as visible as possible in this situation, and the way that you do that is being very strategic with your not your keywords, even though you should look at it as your keywords, but be strategic about your beat titles. You know, there are certain terms, you know, especially when an artist, like a real Drake or a real J. Cole song, when they release a song, you know, when Drake does a More Life, and you come out with a beat that says Drake Less Life, you know, you'll have an opportunity to now compete with those search terms for Life and Drake. And because you've done that, now you are, you know, sort of competing in the search terms, and you're showing up in places that you wouldn't have shown up before had your beat been called, I don't know, Pink Chargers. Once again, this is Curtis King at Airbit.com. Have a good one.
Airbit.com.
Music producers, don't forget to subscribe to the Airbit channel right now.